What's good, hoop heads? Your courtside analyst Tips and Streams is back in the game. On the slate today, breakdowns for the latest NBA matchups set to light up the hardwood. Before we tip off, make sure you slam that subscribe button on our YouTube channel to stay in the loop with all our predictions and top picks. So, let's get started. The first prediction is for the matchup between Philadelphia 76ers and Detroit Pistons. The 76ers are bringing the heat with 119.3 points per game, ranking 5th in the league, and their defense is no slouch either, holding down the 6th spot by allowing just 107.6 points per game. They're tough on the glass too, pulling down 47.1 rebounds per game, outmuscling their opponents by 5.7 boards on average. With Embiid dominating the paint, averaging a hefty 31.0 points, and Maxey lighting it up from downtown, the 76ers have the firepower and the stats to back it up. The Pistons, on the other hand, are hustling hard, but still find themselves outscored by 3.4 points per game with a 30 scoring differential. They're grabbing 46.0 rebounds per game, which is not too shabby, sitting at 8th in the league. Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren are the duos to watch out for, dropping 22.3 and 18.0 PPG respectively. The odds are favoring Philly, but the Pistons are not a rollover. With a 52% chance of covering the spread, the Pistons might just make it a tight game. However, the 76ers' record against the spread when favored by 7.5 points or more is too strong to ignore. Given the current form and performance of both teams, the 76ers have been nothing short of solid against the spread this season, with a perfect 7-0 record, and their overall scoring efficiency is through the roof. The Pistons have gone over the total in their last 4 games, all against stronger opponents and all in losses. Play the Philadelphia 76ers to win and cover minus 7.5 points. The next prediction is for the match between Charlotte Hornets and Washington Wizards. With the Hornets and Wizards both rocking a 2-5 record, tonight's clash at the Capital One Arena is set to be a nail-biter. The Wizards, shooting a slick 48.5% from the floor and boasting the 4th highest assist rate in the league, are poised to play a tight game. Despite their struggles, they've shown they can put up numbers, averaging 119.3 points per contest. However, their defense is leaking points like a sieve, giving up 126.9 PPG. Kuzma's been a beacon of hope, dropping 25 points recently, but they'll need to tighten up on D if they want to contain the Hornets, who have been buzzing with an average of 116.3 points and snatching 43.7 rebounds per game. It's going to be a close contest, but given the Hornets' defensive woes, allowing a sky-high 123.1 PPG, the Wizards might just cast the right spell tonight to cover the spread. Play the Wizards to snatch this one at home. Take the Washington Wizards to cover the spread minus 1.5. The next prediction is for the match between the Brooklyn Nets and Boston Celtics. The stage is set at the TD Garden for an East Coast showdown, as the Brooklyn Nets, who've been riding the roller coaster of the early season, roll into town to take on the high-flying Boston Celtics. The Nets are coming off a gritty win against the Clippers, showcasing their knack for three-point rainmaking, hitting 15 bombs from downtown. With the offensive firepower averaging 115.4 points per game and Cam Thomas turning heads with his smooth shooting, Brooklyn is looking to pull an upset. However, the Celtics are no pushovers at home, boasting a solid 14-6 record on their turf. With Jason Tatum dropping buckets like it's going out of style and the team sitting pretty with a 120.6 points per game average, Boston's offense is nothing short of electric. Defensively, they've been stingy, ranking 9th in points per game allowed and showing they can clamp down when it counts. The Nets might have the tools to cover, but history tells a tale of struggle against Boston, especially at the Garden, where they've found wins hard to come by. Considering the Celtics' strong recent form and their dominance over Brooklyn in past matchups, the smart money might be on the green. The Nets' defense will have to conjure up some serious magic to contain Tatum and the Celtics' offensive juggernaut. In conclusion, while the Nets' offense can keep things interesting, Boston's combination of home court advantage and defensive tenacity will likely prove too much. Play the Boston Celtics to win and cover the -10 spread. The next prediction is for the match between the New Orleans Pelicans and Houston Rockets. The New Orleans Pelicans are heading into this game with a 3-game losing streak, while the Houston Rockets are on a 4-game winning streak. The Pelicans have been struggling recently, especially with key players out due to injuries. On the other hand, the Rockets have been performing well, with impressive performances in their recent games. Zion Williamson is expected to lead the charge for the Pelicans with an anticipated 25 points, complemented by 6 rebounds and 5 assists. Jalen Green is projected to counter for the Rockets with 23 points and a supporting cast featuring Fred VanVleet and Alperen Sengun, who have been consistent performers this season. The Rockets have been covering the spread in more than half of their games, while the Pelicans have been 50% against the spread, both at home and on the road. In terms of head-to-head matchups, the Pelicans have won 6 of the last 7 meetings, including a 117-107 road win in the most recent matchup on March 2023. However, considering the current form of both teams, the Rockets seem to have the upper hand in this game. The Rockets have been putting up more points than their opponents this season, with a plus 41 point differential. The Pelicans, on the other hand, have been outscored by 56 points this season. The betting odds favor the Rockets slightly, with a point spread of -2. The over-under for this game is set at 217 points. Given the current form of both teams, it seems likely that the Rockets will cover the spread, and the total points will be under 217. In conclusion, considering the recent performances and current form of both teams, I give the Rockets a slight edge, expecting them to extend their home court winning streak. Play Houston Rockets -2. The next prediction is for the match between Utah Jazz and Memphis Grizzlies. The Utah Jazz are gearing up to clash with the Memphis Grizzlies in a court battle for the books. The Jazz, hitting a rough patch, are determined to flip the script and snap their losing skid. But the Grizzlies, backed by the roar of their home crowd, are the ones with the odds in their corner. Memphis is stepping onto the hardwood with a 4.5-point edge, yet the Jazz have a knack for rising to the occasion and might just narrow the gap. I'm banking on a nail-biter this time around. The stakes are pegged at 231, 5 points, and that's tipping the scales higher than my bet would be, hinting that going under might just be the smart play. When it comes to beating the spread, the Jazz are jotting down a 3.60 stat line, a step ahead of the Grizzlies' 2.60 ATS score. But if we're talking about busting the over-under, the Jazz have been hitting that mark 77.8% of the time, leaving the Grizzlies in the dust at 37.5%. Wrapping this up, while the Grizzlies are the hot pick for the W, the Jazz have the chops to keep it within the lines. This showdown's got the makings of a tight tussle, likely not to hit the lofty total set. So, here's the call. The Memphis Grizzlies to bag the win, but put your chips on the Utah Jazz to keep it closer than 4.5. The next prediction is for the match between Minnesota Timberwolves and San Antonio Spurs. The Minnesota Timberwolves are on fire, tearing through the opposition with a 4-game tear and strutting like true Western Conference royalty. They've been crushing it, snagging 5 out of their last 6 matchups. The San Antonio Spurs, though, seem to be in a bit of a jam, sporting a 3-5 record for the season and trailing with 3 consecutive losses. Minnesota's defense is a brick wall, topping the charts league-wide. They're all set to boss the boards against a Spurs crew that's practically bottom of the barrel in NBA rebounding this year. The Spurs' lack of slick passes and solo heroes puts them at a disadvantage against the Timberwolves' ironclad D, sporting a hefty plus 10.6 point edge over their opponents this season. The Timberwolves are tipped to keep their victory vibe going. With the Spurs lagging behind at minus 12.5, the Timberwolves are the bookies' darlings by an 8-point lead. Peering at the form chart, Minnesota's winning wave looks set to roll on. On the scoring front, the Timberwolves are hitting their stride with the starting lineup and their bench boss all racking up double digits. Facing the leakiest defense in the league, the Spurs are probably going to have their hands full trying to put a lid on Minnesota's offensive fireworks. Wrapping it up, when you tally up the current streaks and the defensive and offensive chops of each squad, the Minnesota Timberwolves are poised to pocket this one, even though it's their third road game in a row, and the past two didn't go their way. And that's the reason why I still don't trust them when they play away games. I'm rolling the dice with the San Antonio Spurs to buck the odds and cover the spread. Bet on the Minnesota Timberwolves to snag the W, but put your money on the San Antonio Spurs to stay within the line. Play San Antonio Spurs plus 7.5. The next prediction is for the match between Los Angeles Clippers and Dallas Mavericks. In the realm of hoops, it's about to go down at the American Airlines Center, where the LA Clippers are gearing up to face off with the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavs are riding high with a slick 6-2 opening act, while the Clippers are hustling to find their groove at 3-4. The smart money is on Dallas, pegged with a 2.5-point edge. The Clippers might be hitting some snags in their game flow, but they're packing a punch with the likes of Bowler's Paul George, James Harden, and Kawhi Leonard. Meanwhile, the Mavs are basking in the glow of Luka Doncic's and Kyrie Irving's ball wizardry. Clipper Nation's gonna feel the absence of Mason Plumlee and Brandon Boston Jr., sidelined with injuries, and the Mavs might be rolling without Maxi Kleber and Frank Ntilikina, with the home court vibes fueling the Mavericks and both squads showing some serious scoring chops. It's a good bet the Mavs will swoosh past the spread. And with the scoreboard expected to light up past 232.5, this clash could very well turn into a high-flying points bonanza. Wrapping this up, if we're talking about who's bringing that heat right now, the Dallas Mavericks seem to have the edge on the Clippers. But in this game of giants, I'm not throwing in the towel for either squad. I'm calling it take the over on LA Clippers versus Dallas Mavericks with a total soaring over 232.5. The next prediction is for the match between Los Angeles Lakers and Phoenix Suns. It's showdown time in the Pacific Division as the Los Angeles Lakers roll into the Footprint Center to clash with the Phoenix Suns. The Lakers, hustling with a 3-5 tally, are gearing up to snatch their fourth consecutive triumph over the Suns, who are balancing the scales at 4-4. The previous face-off saw the Lakers clinch a nail-biter, 195, flexing their muscles as a 6.5-point home favorite. The Suns are lighting up the scoreboard with 111.8 points per 100 possessions, sitting mid-table at 15th in the NBA. They're slicing the net with a 53.0% efficiency inside the paint and 36.2% from the three-point land. However, their ball handling's been shaky, with turnovers at 17.1 per 100 possessions, putting them near the bottom of the pack at 28th. Defensively, they're holding the fort, conceding 110.3 points, 11th in the league, while keeping opponents to 51.6% shooting inside and 34.2% from deep. Devin Booker, the Suns' ace, is benched for his fourth game on the trot with an injury. Yet, the Suns are still the bookies' darlings, with or without Anthony Davis suiting up for the Lakers. Flashback to Week 1, the Suns squandered a hefty lead in the final quarter, falling short by 5 points against the Lakers, even without Booker and Bradley Beal in the mix. But now, on their turf, the Suns are hungry for payback. The Lakers are stepping into this battle as 3-point underdogs, with the Suns holding the edge with a 3.5 spread. The Lakers are thirsty for a road win, but the Suns have the edge of home court and momentum. All signs are pointing to a Suns victory. Take the Phoenix Suns to clinch this one and beat the spread minus 3.5. The last prediction for today is for the match between Oklahoma City Thunder and Sacramento Kings. The Oklahoma City Thunder and Sacramento Kings are set to face off at the Golden One Center. The Thunder are coming off an impressive win against the Cavaliers, and the vibes seem to be great in Oklahoma. With a record of 5-3, they have shown strong form this season. Their average points per game stand at 118.8, ranking 7th in the league. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been a standout player for the Thunder, averaging 31.4 points per game and 5.5 assists per game. The Thunder are connecting on 39.3% of shots from three-point land and 86.4% from the charity stripe. On the other hand, the Kings have been struggling without De'Aaron Fox, who leads the Kings with 25.0 points per game and 6.1 assists per game. Since his injury, the Kings have gone 1-3, with their lone win coming in overtime against the Trail Blazers. The Kings have an elite offensive rating with Fox on the floor, but that number drops to just 103.1 when he's off the court. The Thunder are 2.5-point favorites, indicating a close game. However, They've been successful against the spread with a 6-2 record this season. Over-under considerations, with the over-under set at 225.5 points, and considering both teams' scoring trends, betting on the points over seems promising. The Thunder's defense, it is not good, allowing an average of 117.1 points per game, and could be a weak point against the Kings. On the other hand, the Kings struggle without Fox, and the Thunder's impressive performance in recent games tilt the odds in favor of the Thunder. Given the Thunder's overall performance and success against the spread, coupled with their scoring abilities, they seem to have a slight edge over the Kings. Play Oklahoma City, Thunder minus 2.5. All right, hoopheads, that's the buzzer for today's predictions. Big thanks for rolling with us. If you're vibing with our picks, slam that subscribe button and get on board. Catch you on the court tomorrow. Peace.